Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really foundational piece of the intelligent organization framework, and that's technology architecture. If you've ever wanted to understand how to shape your tech stack with genuine intent, you are definitely in the right place.
Let's be honest. Have you ever just looked at your organization's technology and wondered, do these choices actually fit together at all? If you're a business leader, especially a non-technical one, you've probably felt that frustration, right? Dealing with disconnected systems, the creeping chaos of shadow IT, and a totally messy, overly complex tech stack. Honestly, it often feels like people are just out there buying tools without any kind of master plan.
Okay, let's dive into this. To turn architecture from a theoretical exercise into a practical, decision-making engine, here is what we're covering today: the architecture myth, shaping with intent, the 5 core behaviors, 3 practical outputs, and finally, proof and evidence.
Starting with Section 1, the architecture myth. It is definitely time to clear the air about the stereotypes that make executives so skeptical of enterprise architecture in the first place.
And this brilliantly illustrates why we need a fundamental shift. We've got to move away from this myth of architecture being just beautiful diagrams that nobody actually uses. It needs to be an engine. It's not just an artifact on a shelf. At the end of the day, its primary output is actually incredibly simple: making better technology choices easier.
Because the myth is that architecture is basically a committee designed to slow every single decision down. Architecture for architecture's sake. But the TIO reality, it has to create a roadmap people actually follow. Remember this golden rule: if your process only creates documents, endless meetings, and delays, well, that's not mature architecture. It's literally just overhead.
Moving on to Section 2, shaping with intent. Let's look at what architecture actually does within the framework. So the crucial point here is that your technology choices absolutely need to fit together. Architecture is the very first technology capability for a reason, because it shapes the environment the organization is building toward. It's the practical ability to ensure that your strategy, your data, your AI use cases, your automation, and your security can actually all work seamlessly in one coherent environment. To put that into perspective, think of architecture like the blueprint and the structural foundation of a building, right? It shapes the environment. Platforms, which is the next capability we'd look at in the framework, are like the actual rooms and the tools inside where the work gets done. Basically, architecture shapes, platforms enable. It's a really important boundary line to draw.
All right, Section 3, the 5 core behaviors. Let's look at the mechanics of how this architecture engine actually operates out there in the real world.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it visualizes architecture as a system of interlocking gears. These aren't just isolated steps. They are continuous behaviors that drive your technology foundation. The question shouldn't just be, what architecture do we want? It's what technology foundation will actually help us execute our strategy and automate our work. So let's walk through those 5 gears. First up, C. You have to make your current tech environment visible enough to actually understand your systems and pain points. Second is shape, defining the target direction, principles, and standards. Third, sequence, identifying dependencies so work can move forward without constant rework, which is huge. Fourth, decide, actively supporting clear choices, whether you build, buy, partner, or retire. And fifth, adapt, updating the architecture as your strategy, AI capabilities, and risks inevitably change over time.
That brings us to Section 4, 3 practical outputs. This is exactly where the theory meets operational reality.
To prove that your architecture capability actually exists and isn't just, a nice aspiration, you need 3 very specific outputs. Number 1, a technology landscape map so you know exactly what you have today. Number 2, a target architecture and principles so you know where you're going. And number 3, a technology roadmap and decision log so you know exactly how you're getting there and why you made the choices you did. Let's move to and see how this builds a living roadmap and decision log on the ground. A roadmap isn't just a basic timeline. It dictates what absolutely must be done first, like standardizing your data, before you can go off and launch an AI automation. And the decision log records your major tech choices, explicitly linking them to value and risk. This is a real game changer because it brilliantly prevents your teams from having the exact same arguments every 6 months.
Finally, Section 5, proof and evidence. How do leaders actually measure this true effectiveness?
Well, architecture is proven by evidence. period. You really have to measure 4 key areas: accountability, strategic linkage, decision discipline, and complexity management. If you can't provide solid evidence for these areas, then honestly, your architecture isn't serving the enterprise.
To give you an idea, you should be tracking the percentage of major systems with named business and technology owners just to ensure that accountability is actually there. You also need to track the number of priority gaps linked directly to your strategy. And crucially, you absolutely must measure the number of redundant or unsupported tools that you've reduced or retired. Misaligned technology has to be actively managed. You can't just ignore it and hope it goes away.
Now, the TIO maturity scale runs from 0 to 5. Level 0 is complete chaos. Major choices are super local, reactive, basically a free-for-all. As you move up to level 3, it becomes defined, with those named owners and a real decision log. By level 5, it's optimized, adapting continuously as strategy and AI evolve. But here's the catch. You are only unlocked to move up this scale by providing concrete evidence at each stage. There's no guessing your maturity level here.
I want to leave you with this final vital thought. Architecture is proven by evidence, not aspiration. So ask yourself right now, looking at your own organization, are your technology choices currently based on hope or maybe some vendor promises? Or are they truly grounded in hard, measurable evidence and shaped with clear intent? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Go build a smarter foundation, and I'll catch you next time.